Hi grade 9s, it's Miss Langrage and I'm going to do another video today about solving equations. But this time the equations will be a little bit more challenging because there'll be negatives like there were yesterday and there'll also be brackets. So we're going to learn to do some really great things today together. Before we start, please make sure you get a pencil and a piece of paper so we can do math together while you're watching this video. And before we start the video, I just want to remind you of the difference between simplifying and solving. Simplifying is when we take an expression that's long and we make it shorter, like we did in the first 3 videos for assignment number 3. Solving is whenever we find the value of x. So we're going to go back to what we did in video number 3, and we're going to practice simplifying with brackets before we try solving equations with brackets. Let's start with this question where we are asked to simplify 2 bracket 3x minus 7 bracket. And remember from our earlier videos that when we have a 2 followed by a bracket and then 3x minus 7, it means we want to multiply 2 times 3x minus 7. So we want to multiply the 2 by both of the parts inside the bracket. So we want to multiply the 3x by 2. And we want to multiply the second part by 2. Now don't forget that this second part is not just 7, it's actually minus 7. So that means I have 2 times 3x gives me 6x. And I have 2 times negative 7 makes negative 14. When we see the word simplify, it means 2 things. It means that I want to make the expression shorter. And I've done that. Before there was 1, 2, 3 parts, and now there's only 2 parts. It also means I want to eliminate or get rid of any of the brackets that might have existed. There were brackets in the first part, we simplified, and now there are no longer any brackets. If you think you need a little bit more practice with simplifying expressions when there are brackets, then you want to go back and rewatch this earlier video called MFM1P Simplifying and Solving 3. Okay, and you'll find that in my YouTube channel. So now we're going to move past simplifying and we're going to try solving with brackets. The first equation that we're going to solve is 3 bracket 5x plus 1 bracket is equal to 18. And all you need to remember to do is to simplify the left side first and then do the same things we did yesterday when we were solving equations when there were no brackets. Step number 1, we need to simplify. We need to get rid of the brackets, which means we need to multiply the 5x times 3 and we need to multiply the 1 times 3. So that means we have 5x times 3 would give me 15x. And then we have 1 times 3 gives me, don't just write down 3, you have to write down it's a plus 3. And then we have 18. Now remember what that means. It means I started with an x and I'm trying to find that number. I multiplied it by 15 and then I added 3 and I got 18. And we want to undo. We want to go backwards to find the value of x. That means if we added 3, we want to take away 3 to get rid of that step. This cancels out. I have 15x is equal to 18 minus 3 is 15. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to get my x by itself. I had this x and I multiplied by 15. I want to undo the multiplying by 15, so I'm going to divide by 15. And that means that my x is equal to, since these cancel out, x is equal to 1. And we can check. Let's do a little bit of a check. We always want to check to make sure that our answer makes sense. So I have this equation, 3 5x plus 1 is equal to 18. That was my equation. And over here, I realized that my x is actually equal to 1. So when I'm doing solving, I need to actually do BEDMAS, which means I need to multiply and then add the stuff in the brackets and then multiply by 3. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 times 3 is equal to 18, so it's right. Another way you could check it is you could start at this equation that we had after we got rid of the brackets, I could make a table of values for that. So I know my table value starts at 0, 1, 2, 3. I know that my initial value was 3, and then it was jumping. My rate of change was 15. So that would mean that I would have 18, and then I would have 33, and then I'd have 48. And we want to know when this equation was going to be equal to 18. Well, it's equal to 18 when x is equal to 1. So we know we did it correct. Let's try this next question where we have brackets and we have a negative. So we need to take both of those things into consideration. But first step will be to get rid of the brackets. So we'll need to multiply first, and then we'll go ahead to solve the equation. Here's my question, and I want to multiply. I want to multiply both things by 4. So I multiply my 3x by 4. I'm multiplying my 6 by 4. So I've got 3x times 4 is equal to 12x. Now don't make a silly mistake here. It's not 4 times 6, it's 4 times negative 6. So that means it's actually negative 24 is equal to 12. Then what I want to do is I want to undo the things I did to x. I had x, I multiplied by 12, and then I subtracted 24 to get 12. So what I want to do is I want to undo this subtracting by 12. So I want to undo the subtracting by 24. So I want to add 24 to both sides. These ones will cancel out, and I'll have 12x is equal to 36. Now I had my x and I multiplied by 12, so I want to undo the multiplying by 12. So I'm going to divide both sides by 12. And that means that my x is going to be equal to 3. Let's make a table of values here to see if we did this correctly. Let's go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, x, y. Okay, so let's look at this equation that we simplified by taking away or getting rid of the brackets. The initial value would be minus 24. The rate of change is 12. It's going up 12 each time. And we want to keep going with my table of values until I get to the answer to be 12. So I start at negative 24, I add 12, which gives me negative 12. I'm at negative 12, I add another 12, I get 0. I'm at 0, I add another 12, I get 12. I'm at 12, I add 12, I get 24. I actually could have stopped right here. I didn't need to go up to x is equal to 4, because I can tell that by the time I get to x is equal to 3, my y is equal to 12. So this is the right answer. So now it's time for homework. So today I'm going to assign you actually 3 things to do for homework. And the first thing I want you to do for homework is actually going to make your mother very happy. First thing I want you to do is I want you to clean your room. So here's a picture of my son's room. It was so messy. I'm so embarrassed, but he was such a good kid. Yesterday he cleaned his room and look, it looks so much better. So step number 1, clean your room. Step number 2 is to try these 2 questions for homework, and you can send them to me and I will check them. So thanks for watching my YouTube video. Please leave me a comment and let me know that you've watched it, and send me any questions that you have.